Do-hyun Lee stared at the screen in front of him, his coffee growing cold beside the control panel. The readings from the deep space sensors didn't make sense. As Chief Science Officer at Lunar Research Station Alpha, he had seen many strange things, but nothing like this. "Sir, you need to see this," called Hae-yun, his young assistant, from another monitoring station. "The energy signatures are getting stronger." Do-hyun walked over to her station, his footsteps echoing in the quiet control room. The lunar base's artificial gravity made movement easy, though he never quite got used to the view of Earth hanging in the black sky outside the reinforced windows. "How many ships?" he asked, leaning over Hae-yun's shoulder to look at the data. "At least 50 large vessels, sir. They're not trying to hide their approach." Do-hyun nodded slowly. Humanity had been waiting for this moment for decades. First contact was about to happen, but something felt wrong. The ships weren't following any of the peaceful contact protocols that Earth had been broadcasting into space for the past 30 years. He pressed the comm button on his wrist device. "Commander Park, please come to the control room immediately." Within minutes, Sun-Mei Park strode into the room. Her military uniform was crisp, and her expression was serious. As the head of the base's security forces, she had trained for this scenario countless times. "Show me," she said simply. Do-hyun pulled up the main display, projecting a holographic map of the solar system. Red dots showed the incoming fleet's position, moving steadily toward Earth. "They'll reach lunar orbit in 6 hours, he explained. "They haven't responded to any of our greeting messages." Sun-Mei's face hardened. "Have you notified Earth Defense Command?" "Yes. They've called an emergency meeting of the Council. Han Bin-cho is preparing for possible diplomatic contact." The next few hours were tense. More staff arrived at the control room, monitoring every movement of the approaching fleet. They watched as the ships grew closer, their massive size becoming apparent. The smallest ship was bigger than anything humans had officially built. At exactly 14:27 Earth Standard Time, the fleet stopped just beyond lunar orbit. A transmission came through on all frequencies in perfect English. A large alien face appeared on the main screen. The being had gray-blue skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. When it spoke, its voice was deep and commanding. "I am Admiral Kex of the Galactic Confederation. Your planet has been selected for integration into our empire. Resistance is unnecessary and would only result in your destruction. You have 6 Earth hours to submit your surrender." The room fell silent. Sun-Mei and Do-hyun exchanged knowing looks. The aliens had no idea what they were dealing with. "Patch me through to Earth Defense Command," Sun-Mei ordered. Within moments, the secure quantum channel was open. The face of Han Bin-cho, Earth's chief diplomatic officer, appeared on a separate screen. Despite the serious situation, he looked calm and collected. "We saw the transmission," Han Bin said. "The Council is meeting now. What's the status of our lunar defenses?" "Everything is in place," Sun-Mei reported. "But sir, they can't see any of it. Our quantum shielding is working perfectly." Han Bin nodded. "Good. Keep it that way. We need to understand what we're dealing with before we show our hand." Over the next hour, smaller alien ships began scanning Earth and its surrounding space. They could only see what humanity wanted them to see: a few basic space stations, some small colonies on Mars, and primitive propulsion technology. Hae-yun monitored the alien scans from her station. "They're buying it, sir. Their scans are only picking up our decoy technology." Do-hyun watched the alien ships with growing concern. Their technology was advanced, but nowhere near as sophisticated as they seemed to think. Earth had surpassed this level of development nearly 50 years ago. The real question was, why were they being so aggressive? The answer came 3 hours into the standoff. A new transmission from Admiral Kex's flagship filled the screens. "We have completed our analysis of your civilization," the Admiral announced, his 4 eyes blinking in an unsettling pattern. "Your species has barely achieved spaceflight. Your weapons are primitive. Your defenses are negligible. To save lives, we suggest immediate surrender. You have 3 hours remaining." Sun Le couldn't help but smile. They really have no idea, do they? No, Du Hyun agreed. They don't. And that's exactly how we wanted it. The next 2 hours were filled with careful preparation. While the aliens watched Earth's obvious military forces scramble in apparent panic, the real defense grid remained completely hidden. Quantum-cloaked satellites, microscopic nanite swarms, and energy weapons beyond the aliens' comprehension stayed dormant but ready. Hae-yun monitored the alien communications they were intercepting. "Sir, they're discussing how to handle our surrender. They think we'll give up without a fight." "Let them think that," Sun Mai said. She checked her tactical display, hidden from alien scans by technology they couldn't detect. "All defense stations are ready. The Mars colony shield is powered up but cloaked. Earth's quantum grid is at full capacity." A priority message came through from the council. Han Bin's face appeared again, this time with a slight smile. "The council has made its decision," he announced. "We will respond to their ultimatum in 1 hour. Commander Park, prepare for Defense Protocol Echo 7. Echo 7 confirmed. Sun Mai acknowledged. She turned to her staff. "You all know what that means. Battle stations, but keep everything hidden until the signal." Do Hyun felt a mixture of excitement and anxiety. Echo 7 was the protocol they have designed for exactly this scenario. When an alien force severely underestimated Earth's capabilities, it was meant to demonstrate overwhelming power while minimizing loss of life. As the final hour ticked down, the lunar base hummed with controlled activity. Behind its innocent exterior, the most advanced defense systems ever created by humanity waited silently. The aliens continued their scans, growing more confident with each passing minute as they detected nothing beyond simple satellites and basic defense platforms. With 30 minutes remaining, Admiral Kex sent another transmission. His tone was almost bored. "Your time grows short," he announced. "We detect your military forces moving. It would be pointless to resist. Your technology is centuries behind ours. Surrender now, and your transition into the Confederation will be peaceful." Hae-yun looked up from her station. "Sir, their weapons are powering up. They're preparing to demonstrate their power." "Let them," Sun Mai said calmly. "Everything is in position." Do Hyun watched the alien fleet, knowing that humanity's greatest deception was about to be revealed. For decades, Earth had hidden its true progress, appearing primitive while secretly advancing far beyond what any alien civilization expected. They had detected the Galactic Confederation long ago and had prepared accordingly. The final minutes ticked down. In the control room of Lunar Research Station Alpha, humanity's first line of defense waited calmly for the moment of truth. The aliens had no idea they had just picked the wrong planet to intimidate. As Admiral Kex's deadline approached, Han Bin prepared Earth's response. The real demonstration of power was about to begin, and Do Hyun couldn't help but feel a little sorry for the aliens. They thought they were the teachers coming to educate a primitive species. They were about to become the students instead. The clock struck 0, and everything changed. Ji-won Kim wiped the sweat from her forehead as she worked on the maintenance panel of Singapore's space elevator. To anyone watching, she looked like a regular technician doing routine repairs. The alien ships hanging in the sky above made her job more interesting than usual, but she kept working as if they weren't there. "How's the repair going?" her supervisor asked through the comlink. "Almost done," Ji-won replied, her fingers moving quickly over the control panel. What looked like simple maintenance was actually her activating part of Earth's hidden defense network. As a member of the Global Defense Initiative, she was one of thousands of seemingly ordinary workers who helped maintain humanity's secret technological advantages. Through her augmented reality display, which was invisible to the alien scanners, she could see the true nature of the space elevator. It wasn't just a transport system. It was also a massive quantum energy collector disguised as primitive carbon nanotube technology. Her wrist device buzzed with a priority message from Professor Ta-Sung Choi, Earth's leading quantum physicist. All stations, prepare for Protocol Echo 7. Maintain cover until the signal. Jai-1 smiled to herself. The aliens above had no idea that the simple space elevator they were scanning was about to become part of the most powerful defense system ever created by humans. At Mars Colony, things were getting interesting. The aliens had moved several ships into position around the red planet, preparing to demonstrate their power. They had scanned the colony thoroughly, seeing only basic life support systems and simple radiation shielding. Inside the colony's hidden command center, Chief Engineer Yum-Ho Kang watched the alien ships with amusement. "They're charging weapons," he reported to Earth Defense Command. "They think they're about to shock us with their power." The alien ships fired their weapons at Mars Colony's smallest dome, expecting to destroy it easily. Instead, their energy beams hit an invisible barrier and disappeared. Through their sensors, the dome appeared unchanged, not even scorched. Admiral Kex's voice boomed through all communication channels. "This is your final warning. Our weapons are capable of destroying your entire civilization. That demonstration was only 1% of our power." Young-Ho couldn't help laughing. The aliens hadn't even realized their weapons had been completely absorbed by the quantum shields. They thought they were being merciful by using low power. Back on Earth, Professor Ta-Sung Choi worked in his underground laboratory beneath Seoul. Massive quantum computers filled the room, their true nature hidden from alien scans by technology that made them appear as simple data servers. "All quantum grid nodes are ready," he reported to the Defense Council. "The nanite swarms are in position. Should I activate the consciousness backup system?" "Do it," Han Bin-cho replied from the council chamber. "Better safe than sorry." Tai-Sung pressed his hand against a scanner, and across the planet, an invisible network activated. Every human on Earth now had their consciousness backed up in quantum storage, ready to be restored if anything went wrong. It was one of humanity's greatest achievements, and the aliens had no idea it existed. In orbit, the alien fleet continued their preparations for what they thought would be a quick conquest. Their scans showed Earth's pitiful defenses, a few hundred satellites, some basic missile systems, and primitive energy shields that wouldn't last a second against their weapons. Jai-1 finished her work on the space elevator and looked up at the alien ships. Through her enhanced vision, she could see the real situation. Thousands of quantum-enabled satellites surrounded Earth, completely invisible to alien technology. Microscopic nanite swarms floated in orbit, ready to disable any ship that came too close. The planet's quantum defense grid could stop any weapon the aliens had. "All maintenance teams, clear the outer sections," came the order from Defense Command. "Prepare for grid activation." Jai-1 took the elevator down to the secure level, joining other defense personnel who had been hiding in plain sight. In rooms across the planet, disguised as maintenance closets and storage areas, some of Earth's best military minds gathered. She checked her quantum tablet, which showed the true extent of Earth's defense network. The aliens had no idea they were surrounded. Their scans couldn't detect the quantum technology because they didn't know it was possible. They were still using simple energy-based scanning systems, while Earth had moved far beyond that decades ago. At Lunar Base Alpha, Do-Hyun Lee and Sun Lee Park watched as the alien fleet moved into attack position. The aliens had grown frustrated with Earth's lack of response to their ultimatum. "They're getting ready for a full demonstration of their power," Hae-Yun reported from her monitoring station. "They're charging their main weapons." "Perfect," Sun Mai said. "All defense stations, prepare for Protocol Echo 7. Remember, minimal casualties. We want to teach them a lesson, not start a war." Professor Ta-Sung's voice came through the quantum comm system. "Quantum grid is ready. Nanite swarms are in position. Consciousness backup is active. We can proceed whenever the Council gives the order." In the Council chamber, Han Bin-cho stood before the gathered leaders of Earth. The room appeared to be a simple government meeting room, but it was actually the most advanced command center ever built. "The aliens have made their choice," he said calmly. "They came to our home, threatened our people, and assumed we were primitive because we chose to appear that way. It's time to show them why that was a mistake." The council voted unanimously. Han Bin pressed his hand against the quantum scanner hidden in the podium. Across Earth, Mars, and the Moon, hidden systems began powering up. Jai-1 watched through her enhanced vision as the quantum grid quietly activated. The space elevator hummed with power that the aliens couldn't detect. In orbit, nanite swarms moved into position, still completely invisible to alien scans. Admiral Kex's voice boomed through all channels one last time. "Your time is up. Prepare to witness the true power of the Galactic Confederation." The alien ships fired their main weapons, expecting to easily penetrate Earth's primitive defenses. They had no idea they were about to learn a very important lesson about making assumptions. The real show was about to begin, and humanity was ready. Years of hiding their true power had led to this moment. As Jai-1 watched from her position in the space elevator, she couldn't help but smile. The aliens were about to discover why Earth's apparent weakness was its greatest deception. The quantum grid was ready. The nanite swarms were in position. Earth's hidden dragon was about to show its teeth, and the Galactic Confederation was about to learn they had made a terrible mistake in their choice of targets. They had indeed picked the wrong planet. The alien weapons fired, sending bright beams of energy toward Earth. Admiral Kex watched confidently from his command ship, expecting to see the primitive human defenses crumble. Instead, something impossible happened. The energy beams disappeared about 10,000 kilometers from Earth's surface. They didn't hit a shield. They didn't explode. They simply vanished. "What happened?" Admiral Kex demanded, his four eyes blinking rapidly. "Where did our weapons fire go?" In the hidden command center beneath Seoul, Professor Ta Sung-choi smiled as he watched the quantum energy collectors absorb the alien attack. The energy wasn't wasted. It was being added to Earth's power grid. "All collectors functioning perfectly," he reported. "The aliens just gave us enough free energy to power Singapore for a month." Min Ji-yoon, the young tactical officer who had been waiting for this moment, sat at her control station. Her fingers moved quickly over the quantum interface as she coordinated Earth's response. "All defense stations ready," she reported. "Nanite swarms are in position, waiting for your command." Han Bin-cho stood in the council chamber, watching multiple holographic displays showing the alien fleet. "Begin Phase 1, he ordered. "Let's show them what they're really dealing with." Min-ji pressed her hand against the control panel. Across Earth's orbit, thousands of previously invisible satellites shimmered into view. The alien sensors suddenly detected advanced technology they hadn't known was possible. Admiral Kex stared at his tactical display in shock. Where there had been only primitive satellites moments before, now there was a massive defense network. "Impossible," he whispered. "Scan again." Where did these come from? The aliens frantically scanned Earth again, but this time they saw the truth. The quantum shields they couldn't detect before became visible. The primitive space stations transformed, revealing their true nature as advanced defense platforms. "Sir," one of Kex's officers called out, "we're detecting energy readings that are off our scales. They're coming from everywhere. Earth, Mars, even their moon." At Lunar Base Alpha, Sun Lepark gave the order they had all been waiting for. "Activate the containment field. Don't let any of their ships escape until we've made our point." Do Hyun-lee watched as the quantum grid powered up. A shimmering field of energy spread out from hidden emitters surrounding the alien fleet. It wasn't meant to trap them forever, just long enough to demonstrate Earth's true power. "You seem surprised, Admiral Kex." Han Bin's voice came through all communication channels. "Did you really think we wouldn't detect your civilization's expansion toward our solar system? We've known about you for over 200 years." In the Singapore space elevator, G1 Kim activated her station's quantum systems. The simple transport tube transformed, revealing banks of advanced weapons and defense systems. All across Earth, similar transformations took place as humanity dropped its mask of primitive technology. Admiral Kex tried to maintain his composure. These tricks change nothing. We still have enough firepower to... His voice cut off as his ship's weapons suddenly powered down. The nanite swarms had done their work, infiltrating the alien vessels through microscopic gaps in their shields. "Those aren't tricks, Admiral," Minji explained as she coordinated the nanite attack. "This is the result of centuries of preparation. We watched your civilization grow. We studied your technology, and we surpassed it long ago." Professor Ta Sung's voice joined the conversation. "Your energy weapons are based on principles we mastered 50 years ago. Your shields can't stop quantum-entangled particles. Your sensors can't detect our most basic stealth systems." To demonstrate, Minji ordered a single defense satellite to fire a quantum beam. It passed through the flagship's shields as if they weren't there, cutting power to one of their engine pods. "That was 1% of one satellite's power," Sunmei announced. "We have thousands of satellites, and that's just our orbital defense network. Would you like to see what our planetary defenses can do?" The alien fleet tried to retreat, but the containment field held them in place. Their weapons were useless, their shields had been penetrated, and their superior attitude had evaporated. "Wait," Admiral Kex called out. We should discuss this situation diplomatically." Han Bin smiled. "Now you want diplomacy. After threatening to destroy our civilization, I think first you need to understand exactly who you're dealing with." At his signal, Minji activated the global defense grid. Every hidden weapon platform, every concealed defense system, every piece of advanced technology that humanity had carefully hidden became visible at once. The alien sensors were overwhelmed. They detected quantum technology that their scientists had theorized was impossible. They saw energy weapons that made their best armaments look like children's toys. They watched as the primitive species they had come to conquer revealed itself to be far more advanced than they had imagined. "This is the reality, Admiral," Han Bin explained calmly. "We could have destroyed your fleet the moment you entered our solar system. We could have used our quantum weapons to disable your ships before you knew we were a threat. Instead, we chose to let you make the first move." Do Hyun added, "We wanted to see if you would choose peace or try to conquer what you saw as a weaker civilization. You made your choice. Now you face the consequences." The alien fleet hung motionless in space, surrounded by weapons that could destroy them in seconds. Their sensors showed them the truth they had been too arrogant to see. Earth wasn't a primitive world ready for conquest. It was a technological powerhouse that had carefully hidden its strength. "What are your terms?" Admiral Kex asked, his voice much less confident than before. Sunmei looked at her tactical display, showing the alien fleet completely at their mercy. "First, you will acknowledge that attacking Earth was a serious mistake. Then we'll discuss how the Galactic Confederation can make amends for threatening a peaceful civilization." As the aliens began to realize the full extent of their error, Earth's defenders maintained their positions. The quantum grid hummed with power, the nanite swarms stood ready, and humanity's hidden strength was finally revealed to the galaxy. They had indeed picked the wrong planet to intimidate, and now they would face the consequences of their choice. 3 days after the failed invasion, Admiral Kex stood in Earth's main council chamber in Geneva. The room looked different now. The simple meeting room had transformed into a stunning display of advanced technology. Quantum holographs filled the air with information, and the walls themselves seemed alive with flowing data. Han Bin Cho sat across from the Admiral, his expression calm and professional. "Now that you've had time to think, let's discuss the future of our relationship with the Galactic Confederation." Kex looked much humbler than he had during the invasion. His 4 eyes kept darting around the room, taking in technology that his people had thought impossible. "I still don't understand," he said quietly. "How did you hide all of this from us?" Professor Ta Sung Choi, who sat next to Hanbin, smiled kindly. The same way a turtle hides in its shell, Admiral. We showed you exactly what we wanted you to see. Your scanners found primitive technology, because that's what we let them find. In orbit above Earth, Jae-won Kim worked on the space elevator's true control systems, no longer pretending to be a simple maintenance worker. Through the giant windows, she could see the alien ships still surrounded by Earth's defense grid. Their weapons were offline, their shields were down, and their crews were finally learning the truth about humanity. The quantum shielding is holding steady, she reported to command. The aliens aren't going anywhere until we're done talking. Back in the council chamber, Min Ji-yoon presented a detailed analysis of the alien fleet's capabilities. Her youth surprised the admiral, but her knowledge of their systems shocked him even more. Your best weapons, she explained, pointing to the holographic display, are based on focused plasma streams and energy beams. We mastered those technologies a century ago. What confused us was why you never developed quantum weapons. Quantum weapons? Kex asked, his translator struggling with the concept. Our scientists said they were impossible. Not impossible, Tai-sung corrected gently. Just difficult. Your civilization took a different path. You focused on expanding through space, while we focused on understanding the very fabric of reality. Sun Lee Park entered the chamber, followed by Do-hyun Lee. They had just returned from inspecting the alien flagship, with its captain's permission. The inspection had confirmed what they already knew. The Confederation's technology, while advanced, had developed in a completely different direction from Earth's. We have a proposal for you, Admiral, Han Bin said, bringing up a new holographic display. Instead of conquest, we offer partnership. The display showed a plan for sharing some of Earth's non-military technology with the Confederation. Medical advances, clean energy systems, and basic quantum communication devices, enough to help but not enough to be dangerous. Why would you help us? Kex asked, suspicious but curious. After we tried to conquer you. Because that's what humans do, Jae-won answered as she entered the chamber, having come down from the space elevator. We learn, we adapt, and we help others learn from their mistakes. Young Ho Kang, who had traveled from Mars Colony for this meeting, added, your civilization has achievements we admire too. Your faster-than-light travel is more efficient than ours. Your terraforming techniques could help us with our outer colonies. We've spent centuries watching the galaxy, Han Bin explained. We saw civilizations rise and fall. We saw wars that destroyed entire solar systems. That's why we hid our true capabilities, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Tae-sung brought up another display, showing Earth's long-term observations of various alien civilizations. We wanted to understand how advanced societies behave when they think they have power over others. Your invasion attempt actually taught us a lot. And what did you learn? Kex asked, genuinely interested now. That even the most aggressive civilizations can change when shown a better path, Sunma answered. Your fleet had the power to cause enormous damage, but once you understood the situation, you chose diplomacy. Min Ji pulled up the tactical data from the confrontation. You could have ordered your ships to self-destruct. You could have tried to take as many of us with you as possible. Instead, you stopped and listened. That tells us you're capable of learning and growing. The Admiral looked at the displays around him, seeing centuries of human advancement and preparation. All this time, you were watching us, studying us, surpassing us, and we never knew. That was the point, Do-hyun said with a smile. The best defense isn't a strong weapon. It's making sure you never have to use that weapon. We hid our strength so we wouldn't have to prove it. But now that we have, Han Bin continued, we have a choice to make. We can either treat you as enemies to be guarded against, or we can help your civilization grow past the need for conquest. Kex stood quietly for a moment, looking at each human in turn. Finally, he spoke. When I entered your solar system, I thought I was bringing civilization to primitives. Instead, I found teachers willing to help those who tried to conquer them. Perhaps we are the primitive ones. No, Jai-1 said kindly. Just different. We had our own age of expansion and conquest. We learned from it. Now we can help you learn too. The meeting continued for hours as humans and aliens discussed the future. Outside the council chamber, life on Earth continued normally. The quantum defense grid still hummed quietly, protecting the planet. But now it stood as a reminder rather than a threat. In orbit, the alien fleet remained under guard, but the atmosphere had changed. Human technicians began visiting the ships, helping repair the damage caused by the nanite swarms. Alien crew members were allowed to visit Earth under supervision, experiencing the culture they had almost destroyed. A week later, as the last details of the agreement were finalized, Jai-1 stood with Tai-Sung in the space elevator, watching the alien ships prepare to leave. "Do you think they really understand?" she asked. Tai-Sung smiled. "They understand that they picked the wrong planet to conquer. More importantly, they understand why it was wrong to try conquering anyone in the first place." As the alien fleet departed, humanity's defenses remained ready but hidden once again. Earth had revealed its power not to dominate, but to teach. And somewhere in the vast galaxy, a new story began to spread. A story about the peaceful-looking planet that turned out to be the wrong target for conquest. The story of how Earth's greatest power wasn't its advanced technology or hidden weapons, but its ability to turn enemies into students and conquest into cooperation.